If you own a set of Rode Wireless Pros, then you already have a couple of the Rode Lavalier 2s, which are a great sounding microphone, but I've always found it difficult to hide because I love using these Bubblebee Lav Concealers, which not only help you stick it onto a person really quickly, but also reduces the amount of noise. And lav mics are notoriously hard to hide without getting rubbing noise. But before we get into the specifics of the Bubblebee Lav Concealer, let's give you 3 different tips to help you reduce noise on any hidden lav mic. The first tip that I have is to always use fur. Now, you could use just moleskin tape or just this rubber mount from Lav Concealer from Bubblebee, but I find that fur is a great option to reduce the amount of not plosives or wind noise, but also friction from your clothing. This is what is currently stuck to my sternum right here. The fur does a couple things. One, it reduces the noise when you actually rub your shirt. It also reduces the plosives, potential wind noise that you're going to get from either real wind, air conditioners, or even the person's mouth when they maybe look down and blow at it. And that's going to sound really good compared to without the fur. The bonus part is that these furs can be used several times before getting a new piece of fur. Really, the only time that I worry about reusing the fur is if the person's super sweaty. I was shooting in a sauna, and we got to get a new piece of fur right after that. The second tip is to always make a strain relief away from the lav mic, just in case the person tugs on it or moves, so that there's a little bit of give and they won't rip off your lav mic wherever it is. I've learned the hard way that if you don't do this, even with the best laid plans and stickiest of tape, if the person's really active or if they're just crouching down and it gets pinched and they pull up, that lav may get lost in the mix and you're going to lose all your great audio. On me personally right now, I've got my lav mic right at my sternum. I've looped the wire right here and taped it to the side of my body here. The third tip, if you are going to be sticking it onto their sternum area, I always ask now if my talent is wearing perfume. Why? Because perfume is often made with alcohol and sometimes have oil mixed in as well. And that's not going to stick very well to any adhesive. Before I asked this question, I had a lady who I would stick it to and it kept on falling off. And of course, it was because she wore perfume. Easy fix. I asked her to take an alcohol swab, wipe that area, let it dry, and then stick it. No further problems. And the bonus tip for anybody where the audio is critical, and I'd say that's for pretty much anybody who's going to be laving up anybody, then always monitor your audio. I don't know how many times I've been burned because I actually had a bad lav once, which was making it into an antenna and making noise, recording noise. I also have had the microphone pop off the sternum when somebody else was tugging on it. So definitely always monitor your audio. Another tip that is going to be specific to the Rode Lav II is this locking collar has caused me grief in the past. Now, this locking collar comes all the way off, which is a bit weird, but I have had this be a problem when I'm inserting it, and it kind of jammed up, which is odd. So make sure that when you are putting this onto your talent, that it's screwed in first, plugged all the way in, and then you screw that into the locking mechanism, okay? Because I have had issues where this hasn't screwed in and it wasn't recording great audio. So again, going back to the previous tip, always monitor your audio to make sure you've got a connection. Another thing about taking this off is very odd, but you can actually unscrew it so that this thing stays on it, which is bizarro. I'm not very happy with that design, Rode. So if your talent is taking off your microphone, just make sure you've got all the little tiny parts so that you don't lose anything in the mix. With all that out of the way, let's take a closer look at how to apply the Bubblebee Lav Concealer on the Rode Lav II. There's a couple of different kits that Bubblebee Industries has created. One is the mic hiding kit for the Rode Lavalier 2, and this is the one I would highly recommend starting out with. They also make the outdoor mic kit, but I prefer to hide it, and I'll show you some techniques to get to a good sound indoor or out. I love this little box because it just makes us more organized and more efficient on shoot day. We're going to first of all take out our Lav Concealer, and you'll notice that it has a hole that is made exactly for the capsule. It also has a clip and they're reversible. You can put the clip on top if you want. And they also have the fabric guard piece of metal that is raised up so that it prevents fabric from rubbing the capsule itself. And the rubber also absorbs some noise. You'll also notice that there's 4 tiny holes on each corner that can be used with a little pin to pin it to clothing, as well as to sew it directly to a garment. So lots of options. I'm going to take my microphone. This is the gorgeous Rode Lav II, which you are hearing right now, and this is how it's attached to my body. You can take out those little pins. I love that we've got this little case. I can put that back in. Now you just shove it so that the capsule side is up and it is showing into this hole. Just confirm that you can see that it's entirely exposed, the little hole, so it's all the way to the top. And you can put the fabric guard back on if you wish, or you can put the clip on the top or the bottom, depending on how you want to orient it. Most lav mics are omnidirectional, which means they capture sound from all sides. So it doesn't really matter if it's facing up, sideways, or down. It's going to capture noise from the front. That's great. Now that I've got this on, we've got several different types of tape. Remember, my first tip was to always use fur. So we're going to apply a piece of fur here. And this kit comes with 3 different furs. It comes in black or white, I should say. This is the white one, obviously. And we've got this tape with the hole in it. And for the most transparent sound, this is wonderful. I love the details that Bubblebee has because even the tape is separated in the center to make it easy to peel. So now, I'm just going to push this on and leave the hole that is exposed, push it down on every other side. And you'll notice that crease, I can just easily just peel that back. And there we go. We've got this clear tape that is really, really sticky. And I can just put my fur down. Make sure you press on all sides of that. And we've got our fur stuck to it right there. And that's going to prevent cloth rustling as well as plosives from hitting the capsule. And we still have that really nice backing here. And now that's what we use these tapes without the hole. I'm just going to take one of these, and I love how these are made. So you can just put it right on the back here. And if I have perfume, remember, use alcohol to wipe the skin clean first. But if you don't have alcohol, you just peel that back. And I can just tape it right to my skin. Make sure you press or have your talent press down on it. And that's really nice and secure. The last thing we're going to do, we're going to add a strain relief with a piece of the concealing tape. These are great because they are super thin, hypoallergenic, and very see-through. So nearby, I will make a loop and hide it. It's quite hard to do this on my own hand, but let me just do it on, let's say, my palm here. Okay. And so now, if I'm going to stick this down, I'll stick it down right there, for example. And now the center green part is where you pull the other parts. And this is, again, is hypoallergenic tape. Quite sticky here, static here. And you've got this little white tab piece that you can come off. And what's cool about this is that it's sweat-proof, yet breathable. It's like some kind of medical grade kind of tape, and it's super sticky, but it kind of disappears. And they say the matte finish, you can also put makeup over. If you were to do this for Broadway, that's pretty incredible as far as moving with my skin. It's like a second little skin. Probably makes a pretty good Band-Aid, but awesome stuff from Bubblebee. In the outdoor kit, you get a few more things. You get 2 foam wind covers if you were to want to use them on the outside with the clip, and this fuzzy, which is awesome, but I prefer to conceal my microphone whenever possible, so I don't really use these as often. But if they are in a very wintry jacket that is too loud, then that might be your only choice. That's it for this video, but before I let you go, I do have a thought of the day. And the thought of the day is this: so do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. Trying to get ahead of myself. But thanks for watching. If you've got any tips or tricks for better hiding your lavs while still getting great audio, let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm really happy that Bubblebee has finally made a lav concealer for the Lav II because I love the Rode Wireless Pros, and now I'll be able to hide them even better. Thanks for watching. God bless. And if you like videos like this, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.